The point is you bomb anybody you want to. Let's take 1998, so it's before it. In 1998, here's another thing you're not allowed to say in the United States or the West. It leads to hysteria, but I'll say it. In 1998, Clinton bombed the major pharmaceutical plant in the Sudan. Okay, this is the plant that's producing most of the pharmaceuticals and veterinary medicines for a poor African country that's under embargo, can't replace them. What's that going to do? It's obviously going to kill unknown numbers of people. In fact, the U.S. barred an investigation by the UN, so we don't know. And of course, you don't investigate your own crimes, but there's some evidence. So the German ambassador, who was a fellow at Harvard University to Sudan, wrote an article in the Harvard International Review in which he estimated the casualties in the tens of thousands of deaths. The head of the Near East Foundation, very respectable foundation, the regional director at fieldwork in Somalia, in Sudan, he did a study. He came out with the same conclusion, probably tens of thousands dead. Right after the bombing, within weeks, Human Rights Watch issued a warning that there's going to be a humanitarian catastrophe and gave examples of aid workers being pulled out from areas where people were dying at a vast rate, and so on. You cannot mention this. Any mention of this brings the same hysteria as criticizing the bombing of the TV station. It's unmentionable. It's a Western crime, and therefore it was legitimate. You're not, I mean, just suppose that Al-Qaeda blew up half the pharmaceutical supplies in the U.S. or England or Israel or any country in which people lived, human beings, not ants, people. I mean, can you imagine the reaction? It'd probably have a nuclear war. But when we do it to a poor African country, it didn't happen. Not discussed. In fact, the only issue that is discussed, there is discussion, is whether the intelligence was correct when it claimed that it was also producing chemical weapons. That is the only question. Mention anything else, the usual hysteria and tirades. This is a very disciplined, Western intellectual culture is extremely disciplined and rigid. You cannot go beyond fixed bounds. It's not, it's not censored. It's all voluntary. But it's true. It's not every society is like this. In fact, the third world countries are different. So take, say, Turkey, half third world. I mean, Turkey, the intellectuals, the leading intellectuals, best known writers, academics, journalists, artists, I mean, they not only protest atrocities like the Kurdish massacres, they protest them constantly, but they're also constantly carrying out civil disobedience against them. Actually, I've participated with them sometimes. They will publish banned writings which report it, present them to the prosecutor's office, demand to be prosecuted. That's not a joke. Facing, sometimes they are sent to prison. That's no joke. There's nothing like that in the West.